Tomato, 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 tomato. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Pretty Lynn, and this is Pretty Lynn Sovereignty. So today on What's the Reality TV, we are going to get into Love Island Season 8, Episode 21. But before we get into that, if you're new here, and if you like what you see, if you like what you're hearing, don't be afraid of that like button. Don't be afraid of that subscribe button. And don't be afraid to ring the bell if you're going to subscribe. That way you'll be aware of every post that I do make. And then if you want to talk back to me, go ahead and leave a comment. Share it with a friend or two. If you're part of the True Crew, you know that you already did all of that already. So I appreciate y'all, like always. But enough of that. Let's get into the episode. So the episode starts off with Kenzie and Dylan having somewhat of a conversation of substance. And she reveals to him and everybody else in the world that she used to have like academic struggles when it came to like passing the 5th grade. And that's the reason why she kind of wanted to go to nursing school to like, prove something to herself and to other people. I would like to not say anything about that. I'm just going to state the facts of what was said. My opinions will be kept to myself. And then, in her confessional, she was saying, like, hey, I can see myself falling for Dylan. I can see, this being something that works on the outside. I'm like, I can see it. Then it pans over to Corbin and Bermuda Triangle having a conversation. To be honest, I don't really care for their conversations. I do feel like it's another physical thing. And like they just both talk weird. So I really didn't care for their conversation, to be honest. And then Bryce and Sydney have a conversation, and Bryce pretty much tells her, like, hey, like, you're a great person, but like my connection, like, I just really can't put much into the connection with you because my connection back at the villa is, what's really on my mind. And, I just miss her, yada, yada, yada. And then Sydney was just literally comforting him and saying that she understands. She pretty much tells Bryce and the girls that he just seems sad at the end of the day. And I mean, can you blame him though? Like, he felt like he found the best thing, and you're trying to tell him to explore somebody else. Like, I probably would have been the same way. And then it pans over to the girls in the villa being in the dressing room, and Anaya was just like, I just, I just want to be with fine. I want to be a fine-ish, or whatever. And Trinity was like, be with your fine-ish then, and be single, and be hurt then, since you want to be with your fine-ish so bad. I was like, ooh, she ate her up real good. I'm like, Trinity, I have no notes for you. There is no way you can be any better than the way you are. I have no notes for you. And then they, inserted a clip of Caleb being in the bed with like all the bombshells at Casa. And he was just cheesing like a little country boy. And they were like, oh, Caleb is getting the true Casa experience. Yada, yada. I was like, that's funny. And then, they show everybody getting ready for bed. And the girls in the villa are actually starting to finally like warm up to the Casa boys or whatever. And Trinity was warming up to Soul Ties. Okay, she grabbed her stuff, her pillow, her blankets, and took her behind to Soul Ties because she does not want to sleep in the bed with Ronnie. And again, I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to sleep in the bed with Ronnie either. And then while they was, showing everybody in the bed at Casa, was Bermuda and Corbin hunching? Because them angles, they look very specific. And I know only certain things happen in those specific angles. I was like, oh yeah, y'all are going to work out just fine. Just easy and smooth, easy and smooth. And then Sincere, you really amaze me with the way that you can like be all in on a connection and still go back home, But we're going to get further into that later. Let me not talk too much about it because your girl will go on and on and on and on. The cutest thing ever is when the girlies all go to Soul Ties to, wake Trinity up, and they all were there talking. Like, of course, the core four was there, but also like Kenzie and Jen had joined in too. And I was just like, this is what you call girlhood. Like, I don't know. I just love this girlhood. I feel like this is what was missing last season. Like last season didn't have this type of dynamic. Like Friendship Island wasn't really there, but this season, like I just love seeing all the girly things, the girlhood, the way they defend and ride for each other. Like it's something that I don't know, it just warms my heart up so much. And then Big Sean, aka Corey, he pretty much, tells, I forgot which girl he told, but he was just like, hey, can y'all keep Melanie, intact or whatever? I'm trying to plan like a whole little breakfast date for her. So if y'all can like, keep her away from where I'm trying to set it up, that would be nice. And the girls did just that, the ones that were aware. And then next thing you know, he calls her out and he pretty much set up like a little picnic, breakfast picnic for her. And I thought it was so cute. She enjoyed it from what we saw. And, she gave him 2 kisses, which was more than she has done so far outside of challenges. And I was like, okay, Corey, I can't be mad at you so far. Even though I feel like you low key a scammer, at least you're a scammer that tries. You know what I'm saying? You're not just trying to scam and expect things just to work out for you. You're actually trying and you're actually putting in the work. And I rock with that. Next thing you know, you see Carl come in to the ladies' changing room or whatever, and it's like, hey, like, Kenzie, please follow me, whatever. And he pretty much brings her out to her spa date that Dylan had set up for her. And then while they were doing the little massage date thing, I was like, oh, y'all getting active on this dog. Let me find out. I said, let me find out y'all gonna get the opposite of a sad ending on national television. I was like, Lord, Kenzie, hey, she just might not have a type for real. And shoot, good for her. Good for her. Then Jen and the LA Hillbilly start having a conversation about coffee and surfing, which is pretty much what his company is, right? I'm not mistaken, right? And that's all that I got out of their conversations. I really don't care too much about their dynamic. I just know that, she's interested in him. He's interested in her, but he also still wants to have conversations with Kenzie as well. And Kenzie still wants to have conversations with him too. That girl is good for having options. She's good for that, okay? She's good for that. And then one thing I noticed throughout this whole episode up until the end is like Kata is literally still down bad about the postcard. Like you can just see it in her face. Like she does not have a great poker face at all. She is extremely hurt by Zach's actions. And granted, it's valid. It's all about the principle. She just seemed like her mind was elsewhere. Like it just wasn't in the conversation. Like, yeah, she's having the conversation because she probably feels like she has to have the conversation, but it just didn't seem like she wanted to be there. Like she would just rather be with Zach. Then you see Ronnie and Trinity have a conversation, a very platonic conversation, and she pretty much just explains like her, mindset. And he was pretty much asking her how she was feeling about the postcard and stuff, and she was just sharing her thoughts, but she still seems very hopeful about, Bryce coming back. She's hoping that, he comes back feeling the same way that she's been feeling. So Kenzie, aka Miss Roster, has a conversation with the LA Hillbilly, and they're pretty much explaining to each other that they are still interested in still exploring each other, and she just cheesing all up in his face like she loves him, just like she was cheesing all up in Dylan's face like she loved him. And of course Jen was having, an issue about it because she was just like, I don't understand, Kenzie. Like if you're, feeling Dylan so much and he's doing all these nice things for you, I don't understand why you're still interested in trying to explore my hillbilly. Like, get your own. And then she was saying, like, she just seems like somebody that just wants to talk to multiple people at the same time. She just likes having 2 people to talk to at the same time. I'm like, not y'all clocking each other's tea the same way I would. Like, the same way I be clocking y'all's tea, y'all be clocking each other's tea too. So y'all see it too. So I'm not crazy. Okay, thank you. And then you see Anaya and Carl are playing volleyball in the middle of the villa. And I'm like, wow, this is such a wholesome moment. And I'm just like, Anaya, please give him a shot. Please give him a chance. Like, I can see the potential between the two of y'all. And then Carl and Anaya are having a conversation, and she pretty much explains to him that she's very conflicted about what to do because, of course, she enjoys Carl and she enjoys getting to know him, but she still has this connection with Casey. And I'm just like, but Carl was a good dude. He still was like, there for her. And he was like, of course, I'm not in your position. And, this is a big and hard decision that you're going to have to make. So, like, you know, I can't fault you for that. But I also can't be delusional to the point where I'm not worried or nervous about it at all. I'm just like, he's such a good dude. And then it pans back over to Casa, and Insincere is having a conversation with TT, and he's speaking about his situation in circles, like he always does. Like, this man speaks in metaphors, he speaks in analogies, he speaks in BS. Like, just shut up already. Once he has all the hands up, like moving, like you just know he's just giving BS. And then Sincere explains to TT that, hey, like, that guy, aka Casey, he's been different ever since. Like, he's been over here and he met you. Like, I've never seen him smile that much. I've never seen the side of him until he came over here. And she's just like, really? He's just like, yes. I mean, yeah, nobody has. That mask finally fell off. Next thing you know, they get a text in the villa, and then they get a text in Casa. And pretty much the text says that there's going to be a recoupling tonight. And, ladies, you're going to have to choose if you are going to couple up with one of the Casa guys, or stay single and loyal to your current match that's at Casa. And in the men, they're like, you can either bring a girl back home or you can go back home single. But the catch is if you decide to stay single and loyal to your current partner, um but they couple up with somebody else, you will be single and vulnerable. Zach already is being dramatic because he was just like, okay, dog, like, what if she saw the picture? I don't know where her head's at, da da da. Because he has no connection because the person he matched up with was a racist, so she's gone and dumped from Villa. So you might be cooked for real. And then Jen has a conversation with the hillbilly and pretty much asks him, like, if I were to bring you, into the house, like, will you still be exploring Kinsey? And he straight up told her, like, yeah, she will be somebody that I still want to. Well, he didn't specifically say her, but he did say he still wants to build different connections and talk to other people and explore other people. AKA, yes, girl, I am. And then, of course, KC makes it about him. Apparently, they're calling him King Casa. So KC stands for King Casa. Corny. Get him out of here. But he talks about how, like, this decision, he's not making it for anybody. He's making it for him. He's not making it for Anaya or for TT. He's making it for him at the end of the day. And I'm just like, you're just a narcissist, in my opinion. Whatever. And then Anaya's asking the girls, like, what should she do? What should she do? And they just keep telling her, like, you should choose yourself and what's going to work for you. Like, Casey has not done anything. Like, they keep telling this girl over and over. And it's like it goes in one ear and out the other. Like, at this point, I don't know. I'm reaching to the end of my F's to give about you. Anywho, everybody gets stressed, and the girlies, they did their big one. They all looked so freaking good. I was like, yes, they ate down with their outfits. So all the girlies and the Casa boys, they head over to the fire pit for waiting for the recoupling to begin. And Ariana walks out, and that outfit ate. My favorite part was the ass crack thong part. Like, that outfit just ate tens, tens, tens. Like, oh my gosh, it ate down so bad. So when Ariana comes out, she calls all the Casa boys to the fire pit. And she tells the ladies to stay seated. Then she goes in and explains the objective of the recoupling to everybody again. After she does that, she has the easy people go first. For example, she had Jen go first. Jen, she ends up choosing the hillbilly, of course. Surprise, surprise, yay, safe. Then they were like, now it's Caleb's turn. Let's see if he brings in a girl from Casa. Caleb comes in, he brings his white Hannah Montana in, and all the girls are just happy for him, rooting for him, saying that they've missed him. This is that and the third. And then Jaden, she was also a sweetheart, was very receptive of, all of the villa girlies and was sweet, which we can appreciate and adore. And they sat down and, everybody was clapping for them, yada, yada, yada. Next was Kenzie's turn. And I ain't gonna lie, Kenzie, for her turn, she clocked that tea, and Ariana did too. And they were just like, yeah, everything was like, live streamed. And Caleb was like, huh? Live streamed? I wasn't aware of that. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's crazy. The reactions of all the guys' faces once they realized that, like, the heart rate challenge was live streamed into the villa for the girls to see. It's it's so funny. But Kenzie, she ends up coupling up with Dylan. And then now they're like, okay, now let's have Corbin come out. Let's see if he found a girl from the villa. And lo and behold, he walks in with Bermuda Triangle. And when I tell you, the villa girls had me cracking up. Boo! Boo! Tomato, 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 boo! When I tell you, my feet were kicking up. My feet were, and I was just giggling and I was eating it up. I say, yes, this is the TV I've been dying to see. This is real TV. This is cinema. Yes. Y'all all need raises, production. This right here, well, not even production, the cast, the core four to be exact. And Kenzie, honorably, Kenzie, she been eating lately. I don't want you out of my villa, but I don't know. You've been doing a little something to me to make me not hate you as much. And I kind of like it. Maybe you can stay a little bit longer, Kenzie. I don't know. We'll see. Just don't be weird to Jen. As long as you stay a good girl, a girly girl, not a girly girl, as long as you stay a girl's girl, you are safe. Just don't be weird to Jen. Then the core four plus Kenzie go one by one. Boom, 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 eating Corbin up. And the Bermuda Triangle tries to step in to defend Corbin. Like, girl, shut up. You can't even get your sentences together. Next. Next is Kata. And, she, explains that she wants to couple up with Bryce. And we're waiting for Bryce to come through. Bryce comes through and he's single. Of course, he has no choice but to be single. All the girlies are cheering and they're happy for Kata and stuff like that. And, he pretty much explains himself or whatever. And, Kata embraces him and they are still coupled up. Yada yada. Then Mel goes next and she pretty much explains how, Corey, he has he has made the time in Casa the best experience that she's had since she's been in the villa, and how he's a great guy and how he did thoughtful dates is then a third. I'm like, okay. Just for her to say she's gonna stay coupled up with Sincere. Huh? Honestly, I knew she was gonna stay coupled up with Sincere, but I wasn't expecting her to say all those nice things about Corey just to say, oh, I'm still going to be with Sincere. How are you saying this guy's making you happy? This is the happiest you've ever been. In the same breath, you're also telling Anaya that she needs to focus on her being happy and people that make her happy, this, that, and the third, saying the same thing to Kata, just for you to turn around and do the same thing, if not worse. And, Sincere comes in by himself, of course, which was expected. I knew he was going to do that. I knew he was just saying empty words to Amora. He was just trying to pass free time, like, at the end of the day. So Sincere walks in or whatever, and, Ariana was just like, Sincere, how do you feel? And he was just like, I feel like the luckiest man in the world. Just saying his BS analogies and metaphors over and over again. And he pretty much is like, yeah, I'm lucky to have her, yada yada. At the end of the day, like, I just know Melanie. So you know that she's a bird. You knew that she doesn't have that much self-worth to where she was still going to choose you. Okay, Melanie, do you see that? And then Ariana was just like, Melanie, do you know him? And then she was just like, Melanie, how are you feeling about everything? And Melanie went off. She went crazy. She went ballistic. She went silly on his behind and talked to him crazy. And he just looked unfazed. Like, this is what he's used to. Like, he loves it. He loves it there. They both love it there in their toxic dynamic. And I'm honestly, I'm starting to just not even care anymore. I just don't. Like, if y'all want to do each other wrong and stay together, that's on y'all. Like, I'm no longer like investing time and energy into Sincere and Melanie's dynamic. Like, y'all gonna still pick each other every single time, go for it. Next is Trinity and Bryce. And Trinity just goes in and just talking about, like, putting all her feelings out on the table, wearing them all over her sleeves about how she feels about Bryce, how she's been feeling without Bryce. While she's talking, like, all the girls are just smiling, and Zach, he's smiling a little bit. And, she's just saying, I'm just hoping that he still chooses me. This is done a third. And Bryce starts walking in, and you can see Bryce still looks sad coming in. Like, what's life without, like, literally when he said, like, the meaning of life was Trinity, it's like he truly meant that. Because he just was just so sad. But once he came through and Trinity saw him by himself and he saw Trinity by herself, Trinity screamed. And that man, it's like that frown was immediately turned upside down. And that man started doing his little jog. It's crazy because me and my man were talking about it, and my man was just like, if he do that little jog to the fire pit, I know they won. I just know they won. And I was like, let's see. And lo and behold, Bryce does that little jog to that fire pit. He wanted to get this over with. He wanted to have his woman back in his arms. He wanted to be back in her vicinity. He wanted to kiss her again. Like, he just wanted to be close to her. So he didn't want to do no slow walking. That man jogged. Okay, he ran to his woman. Period. I was just like, oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie. And then they both were wearing yellow. I was just like, oh my goodness. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been on a roller coaster with Brinity. Okay, at first I wasn't buying it. Then I started buying it a little bit. I donated a couple dollars. Okay. Then when Zach was doing, not Zach, but when Zach was getting into Bryce's head, and Bryce was allowing him to, and he started wanting to explore Kata, and they were doing that homosexual stuff. Like, I was just like, you're starting to embarrass my girl, and I don't like it. So I was starting, like, to place my returns. I was trying to get my money back. And then during the whole Casa era, just seeing how he was just yearning for her and she was just yearning for him, I was just like, Lord, let me go on and cancel that return. And then this scene, the recoupling for them, I dang near shedded a tear. I think I actually shed a tear because it was just so beautiful. I had goosebumps. Like, this is what just love is about. This is what Love Island is about. And I'm like, bro, their name is already printed on that check. They're winning. Trinity is like the most likable Islander, and she just so happens to have a man that actually wants her for real. Like, they're winning. Like, this is love. Like, they're going to win. After that beautiful recoupling, next goes Anaya and Casey. And Anaya starts talking, and I already knew what direction she was headed once she kept saying was in her speech when she was talking about Carl. He was, he did, it wasn't he is, he's going, like, none of that. It was just all past tense stuff. And I'm just like, oh yeah, she sees no future with him. And I was like, Anaya, you're going to piss me off. I don't know if she thought that because her girls got the result that she, their results and their men came home to them, this, and a third. I guess she was expecting Casey to do the same thing for whatever reason. And she ends up choosing to stay single and loyal to Casey. And I was like, honestly, Anaya, at this point, I don't think I have enough energy left in me. I just don't. I'm just like, you might as well you just signed your exit from the village. Like, I'm just like, I just don't know. Then Casey walks in, and of course, he has TT with him. And as soon as he walks in, all the girls is like, wow, whoa, da, da, da. Anaya instantly starts crying and getting emotional. It's down to third. They come up to the fire pit. And everybody was saying their back and forth stuff. And Casey was standing 10 toes down, and he was just like, "Look, this was about me. It wasn't about you. This decision wasn't for you. It was for me." And then Trinity, everybody had their things to say, but Trinity was just like, "I got a question. I got a question." They're like, "Let us hear it, Trin. Let us hear it, Trin. Would you like to share it with the classroom?" And Trin was like, "Yeah, actually, I do." So, I find it funny how you were the main one saying that me and Bryce's connection, you were surprised to see that we made it to the end or whatever, or we were like one of the top favorited couples or whatever. But as soon as you had the chance to go and explore somebody else, you did it. So it's funny for you to say that, and you turn around and you were the quickest to switch up on your couple. Then he goes in talking about something. I wasn't quick to switch up, and she's like, "What you mean? The first moment you got when you weren't around her and she wasn't up in your face, you went with somebody else." And then, he's just like, "Oh, I wasn't. There was multiple people that I could have explored with, but I didn't in the villa, da, da, da." All the girls going back and forth, talking to him. And then TT wants to step in, and she was pretty much like, "Oh, y'all not gonna gang up on him. This is what this island is for." He made this decision for himself to stand a third. And while she's talking, Casey's over here on the side just smirking, like she's his mama or something. Like, what? And then while TT's talking, Trinity was just like, "Love, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Casey. No offense though. Anywho, Casey." And then she was just like, "Well, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you." And then they're going back and forth. But she was just like, "Who are you though?" She was like, "I'm TT and I'm talking to you. Y'all can't tell me what to do. Y'all not all about to gang up on him." Da, 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 da. And they were going back and forth. And Trinity was just like, "I don't know you, the senator. Like, you just got here. You don't even know him." And then Anaya was just like, "Casey's a grown ass man. Let him speak for himself." And they all was just, and then Katie was just like, "Casey, speak up. Talk. Say something. Speak up." Like, and they all was just clowning and dragging him. And I was like, "Yes." Yes, drag him some more. Yes. Like, I tell you, I was, when I tell you them feet kicked up in the air, I was like, all I'm missing is popcorn. Cause what? This is cinema. This is cinema. And what's her name? TT was like, "I'm TT. What you gonna do? You gonna shut me up?" And Trinity was just like, "Boot this bitch." I was cracking up. I was just like, yes. I was like, "Trinity, you are the queen. You are exactly who you think you are. And I need you to never doubt your capabilities, your personality, just who you are as a person. You are exactly who you think you are." And I hope that you win everything in life because you ate up for your friend. Because even though your friend she has a lot of things she needs to work on, but y'all still stood up for her, stood 10 toes down for her. And I love and appreciate that so much. And then, they end up, sitting down or whatever. And it was just crazy. And Anaya was just getting so emotional. And the thing about it, when Anaya was up there crying, expressing like how dumb she feels, literally, Carl was standing there crying with her. It was just like, "It's okay, Anaya." I'm like, bro, this man is golden. He's just so golden. And it's crazy because, after everything was done, Anaya was just sitting there and she's just like, you see all the, Casa dudes, that didn't get coupled up, they end up leaving. And literally Carl walked away, and Anaya, she broke down just like, "Carl was so perfect. He was such a good dude, bro. I should have chose Carl. I should have chose Carl." Yes. We all wish you had chose Carl. And she starts to like cry or whatever, and Melanie's like, "We're leaving. You're not gonna break down here. You're not gonna break down here. No, you're not gonna do that here. Let's go. Let's go." And I was just like, this friendship, I don't know. I feel like it makes me emotional just seeing all of them stand up for each other. And that alone, I'm just like, this season, I ain't gonna lie, at first it had me a little worried. But this season, them girls, that core four, and that's on girlhood. That's how it needs to be done. Okay, period. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the not the conversation. Well, yeah, the end of the conversation, but also the end of the episode. Y'all, what y'all think about it? This episode was really good to me. It was really good to me. But there was a voting last night. For some reason, like the Love Island app, it just be up against me and my votes. Like I always have issues with voting, but anywho, so it looks like the vote for last night was pretty much, vote for the islander that you, or not the islander, the person from Casa that you like to come back. So for the girls, it was like Amora and Sydney. Sydney, I know Amora's gonna end up coming back to Sydney. She had no real connection there, so it's kind of pointless to bring her back. But Amora, she's the one that was exploring with Sincere, and he was acting like he was so in love with her. And child, honestly, granted, I don't really want to keep seeing Melanie go through the same thing, that same toxic cycle. But I mean, you chose to still to deal with this guy. That's not, so it is what it is. And then, of course, for the guys, it was like Carl and Corey. Those are the main ones. The other ones they don't count for real. But honestly, um, I will be fine with either or coming back, Carl or Corey. Because Carl, I feel like it'll give Anaya the chance to actually give him a chance. But also, I'm just like, do she really deserve the chance? Because she's just doing that bird brain stuff. But you know what? If he comes back, I really do hope you take advantage of this, Anaya. Like this is the last chance that you got, okay, to have a great story on Love Island. But if Corey comes back, then the plot can thicken. If Melanie decides to still explore him, if she really wants to give him a chance. So I feel like sincerity is to sweat a little bit too. I don't know. But yeah, y'all, that's the end of that episode. If you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you. And if you liked what you saw, just go ahead and like. You can subscribe, ring that bell, and leave a comment. If you want to share it with a friend or two, I will greatly appreciate it, y'all. But of course, shout out to my True Crew members because I know that y'all always hold it down for me. And I'll see y'all on the next episode. Bye.